We took off yesterday. The team did. Obviously, we watched a lot of tape on Auburn yesterday in preparation, and this will be our first practice since the Vanderbilt game. Look back at the tape, and it's a good win. There's a ton of offensive breakdowns, and a lot of things we can do better defensively. I did think for the whole game we competed, and kind of covered up from some of the things that did that and shot free throws well, made some big plays at the end. But watching Auburn, obviously they're very, very deserving of 12th in the country. Looks like a team that could play in the Final Four. Depth, great experienced guards, really athletic. And they kind of play in some ways an unconventional style, which causes teams problems. So you look at their team, I'm big on, extra possessions, and they lead in every extra possession category in the SEC. Steals, blocks, what else? Turnover margin, offensive rebounds. So all those things that gain extra possessions, they lead. So we'll have our hands full of just from a physical standpoint trying to rebound the ball.
You talked, Kermit, after the Vanderbilt game a little bit about the confidence that might bring, but how does that show itself?
Well, you just got to repeat the process again. I've said it all along. Every time we play, I said, guys, every game just has a life of its own. It's just different, and different emotions, different places that you play. Sometimes you're at your best physically, sometimes you're not. The Auburn game is obviously a real big test. It's as experienced and talented as maybe any team in the country besides maybe Duke. And you watch that game, and that game is, a 5 or 6 point game in the last 2 or 3 minutes. So, I'm looking forward to it. I know our team is, preparing and see what we got on Wednesday night.
You've coached against Bruce a lot. What is it about his teams that make them difficult to prepare for, difficult to beat?
Yeah, and he's got these kind of players like he did at the end of his deal at Tennessee, draft picks, and they play so hard. So they really play confident, sharing the ball. They play fast, but the right guys shoot balls. They're just well coached. They're just well coached. They rebound the ball. They guard at a high level. And, so they're just, like I said, it's just a team that when you play them, especially in a big game like on Wednesday night, you're going to get their very best. And they just do a lot of things well.
Maybe in the second half against Cincinnati, but really, has any game snowballed at all when there was adversity? And you can kind of talk to the team about that, but how do you get that to go into action as far as to when you fight on 6 or 7 or 8 and everything looks like it's not going your way, to be able to fight back?
Yeah, I think it's just practice. I really do. I think it's if you can get your team through adverse, tough situations in practice and challenge your team and watch how your team responds in practice. And when things don't go well or next play or you take a guy out for a defensive mistake and talk to him and how he responds and all those things, it's just developed through practice and I just think that's the only way that you can assimilate it at all. Then obviously now you're going to get game experience to be able to do it. And you're right. We've kind of held its course even at Butler, in Cincinnati a little bit it got away. But our guys have been really good for that point.
What does practice adversity look like?
I think this. I think you're trying to put guys, you'd like to say, okay, every day, perfect world. A coach never coaches attitude and he never coaches effort. Perfect world. That's not happening, okay? Now, we haven't coached a lot of attitude, but effort, on occasions for sure. And so when you coach effort and you put a guy in a situation now you turn around and he coaches, now he's playing with effort. Now that is what you expect to happen. And now as he's playing with maximum effort, now he's got to play with this amount of detail in his game. You can't just play hard. And especially at this level. And so now you really start grinding him down. Now the effort's right there. Now the mental capabilities of really trying to play that hard and play that smart. And then that's what it looks like, And for an average fan probably that snuck in any gym, it'd probably scare him sometime. If you went to a football practice or some basketball practices across the country, it's just part of the process, But after the play and after the practice, it's next. Coaches, players, it's all next, but it's just you got to try to assimilate it to play in these kind of games against this quality of competition. You got to, or you're not going to have any success.
You mentioned briefly after the game you thought Devontae at the point may have been the MVP, particularly the way y'all were able to run offense with y'all not having Franco and obviously being better at three and off the ball, just how invaluable is that role and him being able to play well there?
Well, it really is, because obviously we thought Franco would be we thought he'd compete with Devontae, for the starting point guard position. And at worst would be our backup point. But he really has. He's been safe with the ball. He's been really safe. The last 5 games, maybe 3.5 to 1. Now sometimes we had some guys open in some set plays the other night that he didn't pull the trigger on it, but he's almost trying to be safe. And that's not a bad thing for Devontae, But it really is. He's probably the most valuable player on our team, just because of maybe not a lot of depth behind him.
Terrence has gotten into some foul trouble. It was documented the other day. When you look at it on film, is there some commonality? Is he reaching?
Yes, reaching, Neil, reaching. I mean, he can be a great defender, and he'll just go undisciplined for a couple plays, and it's set him down, And so we looked at it. We've looked at all the fouls, and he played a lot smarter over the last 8 minutes. Got close on one occasion. They called it on Dom, and both guys fouled him, and Dom did hit him first. But he's just got to stay disciplined. You got to stay in a stance, and when he does, then he's not trying to recover, just using his athletic ability to recover and reach, because he didn't stay in a stance. He didn't play with a lot of detail defensively. So, yeah, it's obvious, but when he stays in a stance, he's a really, really good defender.
Obviously, you probably don't want him in foul trouble. Was there anything to the fact that, he did play that 8 minutes smart without fouling? Can you build off of that?
Sure can. You sure can, because, in league races, when you've got your best players, I don't care who it is, the best in college basketball, you need your best players to be able to play 3 fouls, 4 fouls with time, and trust them, that if it is going to be a foul, it's going to be one of those fouls. It's not going to be because of a lack of attention to detail or, some foul that's not really within your game plan. So, yeah, I thought that was big for TD to do that, and we couldn't have won the game without him.
We talked a lot about how well Breeden's playing the last month. Obviously, today he's named Player of the Week. But how have you seen him grow throughout your time here, and maybe what's the next step?
I think number one, I think you guys have seen, I think he's totally healthy. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he's thinking about the deal at all. I think he's totally just playing like he did in high school. Probably the first he got him, he just mindless, athletic at the rim, powerful. He's matured so much. Why I say that? He was a student athlete of the month, or so he had like a 3.4, 3.5 in the fall. So his life is real simple. He's maturing those kind of ways. His loud voice in the gym every time you come to practice. When all those things, all the academics, leadership, loud voice, work ethic, if you got talent, then you'll start seeing it, and sometimes these guys can't get it all right. The academic lacks, and he's struggling, or he's fighting this a little bit, or fighting the leadership part a little bit, or so all those things, I'm telling you. But when they all kind of come in line and you get a guy that talented, then that's what you'll see. You'll see a guy that'll, he'll evolve as one of the best players in the SEC. But now can repeat the process every single day, handle success, and being able now, when teams are really keying on him, just keep doing it. Not trying to get 31 every night, but playing like that.
Is that the next step then, just the continued success and not just a specific thing?
And I say it all the time, it's just practice. I'm telling you, it's practice. It's just, I can see it. I mean, I'll watch it the first 5 minutes a day. I can just tell it. You just been around it so much, you just know when you can walk in a gym, and you just know what's fixing to happen. And so it is. But he's been very, very dependable with that. But I just think it's just the practice habits every day.
Are there players you've coached in the past who he reminds you of?
We're talking about that. I was even trying to think of our LSU teams. We had some great players, great teams. Maybe not with that, because he's not real tall, Not really anybody that I've really coached. We had a powerful guy named Marcos Knight at Middle Tennessee who was but he didn't have, they were different, but they were both that kind of powerful at the rim. Brian probably shoots a little bit better than Marcos did from 3, and Marcos a little bit bigger, but just kind of how compact and explosive they were off 2 feet.
Devontae's playing so many minutes every single night with 37 against Vanderbilt. Is there a point in which somebody's got to, or you got to start to manage the minutes?
Yeah, well, I think what we've tried to do, Ben, is manage minutes in practice. Not where you just sit him, But he's got to get out of some reps. Especially as you get going in a grind, and especially when you start going 3 games in really about a 7-day period. Vandy, Auburn, and then Mississippi State. But I just think these young guys. I mean, the sleep they get and the rest they get and the way I think those guys. I mean, you think about it. I mean, 35, 36 minutes every 3 days. Practice hour and 50 minutes. It's not really a ton when you really think about it. Most of it's just the mental part of it, of being sharp during those 33, 35 minutes that you play.
Just from your personal perspective, coaching this team, what are you excited to see, or what do you want to see from your team playing these 2 top 15 teams back to back?
Yeah, I just want to. I say it all the time: be the best version of yourself. Be the best. Let them see the best version of ourselves. Let them see what we are. Don't go out there and try to do things that we haven't done. We did a little bit against Vanderbilt early, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the crowd on Wednesday night. I really do. I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to a home court advantage against the top 10 or 12 team on national TV. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that this early in the years, which we all want to kind of be right in the middle of it. And so I'm really looking forward to watching our guys compete in that arena.
Do you have expectations for this 2-game stretch? Obviously, you want to win both games, but is it something that you say, oh, if a week from now we went 1-1, you'd be happy?
Yeah, I really haven't thought. I really haven't. I'm not a big coach speak guy, but I really haven't. I've just kind of focused on Auburn and know it's an unbelievable opportunity for our team. I'm sure Bruce is tired of watching tape on us because he's been watching it for about 10 or 12 days. So, I bet he's tired of it. I know their team's probably ready to play. They've had a long time to prepare for us. And I know we're going to get there we're going to see the real good version of Auburn because I know they're itching to play. And that's really all I've thought about is just really is getting our fan support out there, hopefully sell out the building, and have our team play as well as we can possibly play.
Be in this position year one to have a top 15 team coming in and to maybe sell out the building and to have this hype rising. Is this kind of what you envisioned?
Yep. I mean, it really did. I mean, it's what you envision when you take a job. You never really put a timetable on it, but for it to happen in your home opener SEC game, I mean, that's fun to think about, and proud of our players and what they've been able to do in a short period of time. And we know we got a lot of work ahead of us. But, yeah, that's exactly why you want to come to Ole Miss and then coach in the SEC to get these kind of games on national TV against a team that maybe can go to a Final Four in front of hopefully a sellout in your building. I mean, that's just kind of what we all do it for.
You said when you first got here, both Bree and T talked about it. You told the guys this is not going to be a rebuilding year. It's easy to say that then. It's kind of what you have to say. But now
Yeah.
looking at it, I mean, how did you avoid that? What was the biggest turning point, you think?
I just think that the way those guys responded to practices and the way they responded to discipline and structure and they really did. They bought in a good fashion. Everybody went through growing pains, staff and players, and I think it's a credit to those 5 players coming back. We got 3 really good SEC guards, and Dom and Bruce have done well. Then DC, has made a contribution. So it's and we're still not out of the woods yet. We got a lot of basketball left. I mean, there's going to be some bumps and bruises along the way, but it really is. It's gratifying for me to see how they kind of ended the season last year. And to how good they felt in that locker room at Vanderbilt, and proud of what they did. That to me that was a fun part to watch. Just watch the expressions on their face and how good they felt.
All right, thank you.
All right, guys. Thanks for coming today, man.